This podcast is sponsored by Great White Hot Sauce. It's a small batch, handmade hot sauce made specially for you. So if you like hot sauce, you'll love Great White Hot Sauce. It's the hot sauce that bites back. Find it at www.trygreatwhite.com. Well, here we are, episode 50. Who would have thought? This little music podcast that kicked off over a year ago is still going strong. And on this episode, we're going to rehash maybe some, maybe all of the past 50 episodes. It's a big difference from the beginning to now, and you'll hear it. So thanks for listening. We do appreciate your time. Sit back, relax, and enjoy episode 50.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
The KOFB studio presents Milk Crates and Turntables, a music discussion podcast hosted by Scott McLean with his co-host Jack Calabrese. Now, let's talk music. Enjoy the show.
Thank you, Amanda, for that wonderful introduction. Welcome to the podcast. Or I should say welcome to the 50th podcast of Milk Crates and Turntables. I said it. I usually don't say the name, but I said it. We're streaming live right now over Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. And yeah, this is pretty cool. We didn't know where this was going to go, where it was going to take us, how long it would last, but here we are. It's kind of a milestone at 50. But you know who's not 50 anymore? My co-host, Jack Calabrese.
Oh, I'm still in my 50s. Come on now, let's be nice.
So am I. All right. What's up, buddy?
How did you feel when you first turned 50?
Didn't even bother. Birthdays don't bother me.
They don't?
Nope. They
you know what? They don't bother me either. I don't know if that's a male versus female thing.
My daughter hates them. My daughter hates them. My mother hated them.
Do you think you feel differently when you hit 60, which is about 15 minutes away?
I still got a couple of years to go. No. Again, birthdays don't bother me. I'm just never bothered by them. Like I said, my mother hated them. She didn't like them. Didn't acknowledge them. My daughter doesn't like them. Listen. It is what it is. You can't stop it, so embrace it.
No. Hey,
like Bruce Springsteen says in the song Tunnel of Love, you got to learn to live with what you can't rise above.
Look at you.
Yeah.
Quoting the boss. Quoting the boss.
One of my favorites. I love that song. I love that song.
Are you a big Springsteen fan?
Yeah. I'm not the biggest. But, I like his older stuff. I actually liked his more recent stuff, Girls in Summer Dresses, Girls in Summer Clothes.
Yeah, good too.
Yeah, and what was that? That was off The Reckoning? What was the name of that album? It was the...
I think it was off of, maybe Magic?
No, it was...
Magic. Hold on.
Yeah, check it out. Because I actually liked a couple of songs on that album. That came out like 5 years ago, I think, though, right? More? Maybe more?
Hold on, I'll tell you in a second.
Yeah.
Girls
in their summer clothes. But yeah, I'm a fan. I liked the album Nebraska before the critics did a 180 on it. I remember they were slaughtering that album, calling him greedy, and it's terrible. I thought that was a brilliant album.
Yeah, it was on Magic.
It was on Magic. Okay. Yeah, I thought Nebraska was just a beautifully done, considering it was done in his basement studio. Without the E Street Band, I guess what they were supposed to, those were demos, and somebody got in his ear and said, "This is an album."
Yeah, I mean, it was probably John Landau, who was a critic in for Rolling Stone, a guy from the Boston area, ended up becoming his manager and was the guy that was really kind of influential in his muse in a lot of ways, and also kind of guided him in a number of different ways. He was originally like, the story that's out there is on the River album, Hungry Heart. He had actually written with the intent of giving it to the Ramones. And John Landau said, "You're not giving that fucking song away."
Yeah.
No.
Joey Ramone wanted a song from him, and he was going to give him that. They would have destroyed that song. How come he doesn't sing "Glory Days"? This story, I never got the story behind it. He won't sing it live. Like, he just stopped performing. There's something behind that song. There's a story there that he just won't play it. I don't know why.
Yeah, I do not know that story. I'm not a huge fan of that song.
Nah, I'm not either.
Maybe it's one of those songs that just doesn't just doesn't play well live.
I think it would. That's a pretty upbeat song. I just think that I'm pretty sure there's a story behind it that it's not too good, that he just doesn't want to be reminded of it as something. Who knows?
Well, we'll have to look into that and figure out exactly what the deal is on that one.
So 50 episodes, my friend.
It's gone by quick.
50 episodes over a year and some change. So I did a pilot episode, and that was more of a live stream than a podcast to get my feet wet. I was fucking scared shitless, dude. Because everything I do is live, right? Very rarely do I record anything. I think we just had this discussion a minute before we came on that it would feel weird doing this show recorded without, the live audience or the chance of fucking up live. Not that we care at this point.
No, I think there's something that's kind of magical about just kind of like letting it flow. And, sometimes the conversation goes off the rails, and sometimes it's a train wreck when you go off the rails, and sometimes it's magic.
I'm actually more comfortable doing it live than recorded. So that's kind of, I don't know if it's not normal, I don't think. Usually people don't like doing things live.
I have said it a couple of times on air, and we've talked about it a few times. Look, not for nothing. The reality of it is if there was no such thing as podcasts, or if we weren't doing this, maybe the conversations wouldn't be as frequent. But I think that we would be having these conversations regardless.
Oh, absolutely. It would just be so we wouldn't talk once a week, which we do now. And the podcast actually brought our friendship even closer together, but we would probably talk on occasion, and it would be a 90-minute conversation about music.
Yeah, no question.
It always led in that direction.
No question. By the way, just because this is where we started the conversation, I mean, all of a sudden we blink an eye, and here we are at episode 15. The Magic
50.
album.
50.
Yeah, the 50. I'm sorry, 50. The Magic album that we were just referencing, which Girls with Their Summer Clothes, is 15 years old.
I thought, I was like, I'm like, that's...
2007.
Yeah.
2007.
Let me see.
That just goes to show you how freaking fast time is passing.
Yeah, that one did go by fast. Let's see. So I have some sound clips, right?
Well, before you get into the sound clips, I want to ask you about something that's relatively current. Very current.
Go ahead. Yeah.
So here we are. It's 7:00 in Standard Time. The weather here in New Hampshire is a mild April, 42 degrees. Down in Florida, I'm sure it's quite a bit warmer. But in about an hour, once we finish this podcast, the are being broadcast. Is that something that you're going to watch?
No.
Not at all.
I don't watch award shows anymore. No.
But even to see the musical
I have zero interest. I have zero interest in their fucking political views and their stances and their speeches. This generation is a bunch of fucking assholes. They just want to be heard. They want to be seen. They have a platform. I don't want to hear one fucking speech other than thank you, God, thank my manager. I want to thank my mom.
I have to tell you, I think that it's very, very refreshing hearing that perspective from somebody that celebrates episode.
Look at this.
You're going to it with such an open mind. You know what?
The 50th episode, and you still have the 50th episode. Yeah, are you there?
I'm here.
Yeah.
Am I not
like,
here?
Hello? Yeah, you're glitching. Yeah. It's this plays so into what I'm gonna play in a little while. Because you're glitching in and out. Technical difficulties. As usual. No, you haven't had them in a while. Are you
sure it's me? No, I haven't had them in a little while.
Your screen is freezing up a little bit, and then, we have to deal with that. But Dave Phillips just messaged in. No award shows for him either. So we had... I want you to listen to this clip. Stop. I want you to listen to this clip. And this is our second episode, right?
Oh no!
Oh yeah.
You know I don't like listening to this stuff.
Oh, you're fucking horrible in this.
I'm horrible.
Listen, you'll hear it.
Wait a minute. How many of the solo shows are we going to hear?
I only had time getting clips from all these shows wasn't easy. I got some good ones. I just picked out some of the better ones.
All right, go ahead.
I have a lot of them, but so this is from episode 2. I think it's bands that lost their lead singer. Yeah, that was the first podcast episode. So here we go. Just listen to this. Where we are now, and before. Thoughts.
Okay, so here's my perspective on it. First, I agree with you. I mean, you can't replace Michael Hutchence. You know what I mean? He was that band. I mean, great looking guy, charisma, great voice, could move on stage, captivating, compelling, all of that. But here's the thing. He passes away, and then the band is left behind. That's all those guys know how to do, really. So, they probably have money thrown at them. They have agents that are throwing at.
Thoughts? The audio was so bad for both of us.
Yeah, but never mind the audio. Did you hear the brilliance of that response? I mean, look, as you had indicated, live, off the cuff, relatively no notes, relatively no research, but a prompt, thoughtful, cogent response that has really kept this franchise afloat. I just, look, technology aside, this is really about the brilliance.
Okay. Too bad you were too fucking cheap to buy a good microphone.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, that was a dead spot right there, wasn't it?
I'm really sorry. I'm sorry.
A fucking Zoom meeting. That was a Zoom meeting.
Hey, humble beginnings. You know what? We sounded just a little bit better than that Allman Brothers records that we bought on Record Store.
Ooh, I agree there. Ooh.
It's like a bootleg. It's like listening to Abbott and Costello on the radio back in the 30s.
Yeah. It was.
It just goes to show how much we've grown.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So that's why I played that clip. You had the echoing, but hey, listen, we thought it was the shit. This is the evolution of a podcast, right? Nobody starts off unless you're a pro and you already have the equipment and the know-how and the knowledge. I didn't really know what the fuck to do. Like the intro, like it was just so bland, and it was kind of nerve-wracking, you know, because again, we elected to do it live, so there's no editing.
Well,
and you got to be on your game, right?
Let's be honest. Back in those days, and to a certain extent, even today, we're two regular guys that don't have a lot of training or education in this area. We're not broadcasters. We weren't trained as such. We're not technicians. We're not producers. Yet, on a consistent basis for over 50 episodes, we have brought to the masses interesting conversation. Maybe it hasn't been as shiny and as produced as it should be, but I guarantee you that there are those rabid milk crates and turntable fans that only like the first couple of episodes when it was raw, when it was real. Not this overly produced, gentrified, hot sauce funded, slick production that we have now.
I have learned a boatload along the way. I learned
and I have intentionally learned almost nothing.
Yeah, you learned how to use your microphone. That's all that matters. Because I'm an audio, I'm a stickler for that. And I'm not, but although I knew you could afford one, I'm not the guy that says, you need to buy a microphone. You need to buy a good microphone. It finally came out after 20 episodes.
Did it take that long? Was it 20 episodes?
I think it was about that. Good mics? Yeah. Well, I had another mic to start off, and I didn't like it, so I went and spent the money on this one because Scott, the IT guy, had suggested it to you, and I had been looking at them, and I said, "All right, I'm going to get one." You know.
So right now, are we using the same microphone?
Yes, the Shure MV7.
But is that soon to end? Did I understand that you're actually upgrading again?
Yeah, to the Shure SMB. This is 2. That's number 1. There's other mics that are better than this. These are very good podcast mics. But going to the next level.
You've also invested in proper lighting as well as a mixing board.
Yes. I got the Rodecaster mixing board. I invested a bunch of money.
I've invested nothing.
Yeah, but I love it. I love doing this. I love what I'm learning. I've actually, again, learned a lot over the years. So then you Okay. All right. So then we moved on to best and worst cover songs. Again, horrible audio, right? Good information. Good. Now, there's people that have listened to every episode because we have good, informative, topics, and we're funny, and they enjoy the banter, and the whole. I think listening back at those episodes, though, it's funny how we were kind of trying a little too hard. You can see at times we're trying to squeeze stuff in, and it's just the evolution of this thing is amazing to me. Listening to the first episode all the way to the 50th, we've definitely come a long way in our interactions during the. See, I knew it. See, Jack's gone. Even at the 50th episode, he still disappears.
Yeah, you know what it is? It's what happens when you live in the great woods of New Hampshire.
Yeah. So then we moved on to best guitar solos, right?
Sorry. That was a very popular, isn't it? Is that our number one episode? Is the number Milk Crates and Turntables episode? Are you not? Are you not speaking to me? I'm sorry. Hello?
I mean, if you're going to keep playing your guitar, or are we going to do a show?
I'm sorry. I'm just.
How are we going to do this?
Tell you what. I'll tell you what.
What's that? No, just turn it around. I know you like it as a prop.
There you go.
Good. Thank you.
All right, go ahead, Scott. Say something interesting. Did you know?
Now you're gonna try to put pressure on me because I told you I didn't want you playing the guitar?
No.
Is that where we're at now? You're gonna try to play me? Go ahead. Now it's on you. I put my guitar away. Now it's on you, man. No, what do you remember most about the best and worst cover songs? Do you have any memories of these episodes?
Yeah, I think that a couple of the points that I had made at the time were some of the worst cover songs, if I remember correctly, was I was not a big fan of Guns N' Roses cover songs. I thought that they were terrible. Yeah, Live and Let Die, Knocking on Heaven's Door. I'm sorry. I know that there are probably people out there that love them, but I just don't think that they hold a candle to the originals. If you're going to make an effort to do a cover song, you should change it, improve it, broaden it in some type of way. And I don't think they did any of that. I think they actually took the cheap way out. It was a great way to get additional radio play, but I don't think that they expanded the narrative, if you will.
I liked Live and Let Die better than Knocking on Heaven's Door. That's for damn sure. At least Live and Let Die, they did really give it an edge. They had the energy that the song has. They just portrayed it in their own way, or played it in their own way. And it doesn't mean it's good. Doesn't mean it's I love it.
No. Look, it's not an easy song. I think it takes a certain amount of balls to be able to cover Paul McCartney in that type of tune.
Yeah.
And I would imagine live, and I think I've heard it live, but I can't recall. I would imagine probably plays very, very well live. And I would imagine that people just go absolutely nuts when they do it, but it's not great.
No. So our first episode, that was February 26th. Then we move up to Best Guitar Solos. That was on March 1st, 2021. And that to date is the most downloaded show of ours. And I cannot figure out for the life of me what is that? Why is that song the most that episode the most downloaded episode? I'm baffled by it.
I would imagine
there are better episodes.
Yeah, I would imagine that the title is probably intriguing to some people, and I'm not sure to what degree you're able to look at the analytics on that. But just because people downloaded it, it would be interesting to me to understand how long did people actually listen? Did they actually sit through the entire episode?
You can't get those stats. But it's the most Pandora. It has more than about 3/4 of those downloads. It's on Pandora. I can see which platforms, Apple, Pandora, Spotify, Google Play, but for some reason, Best Guitar Solos on Pandora is they give us the most downloads for that episode.
I mean, we don't want to brag, and I'm not sure that we want to share all of the details of our analytics. We don't want anybody coming behind and stealing our our intellectual property. But how many hundreds of thousands of downloads was the Greatest Guitar Solos? 200,000-300,000? 400,000?
Yeah.
Five.
It's
Scott,
just mammoth.
Are you telling me it's 500,000 people have downloaded the Greatest Guitar Solos? Probably most of it probably downloaded right around Thanksgiving time, so people would have something to talk about.
Hey, listen, podcast listeners are funny. Yeah, podcast listeners are funny, man. Podcast listeners are funny. I mean, there are, kind of fly-by-night podcast listeners. Then there are people that just all they do is listen to podcasts, and they seek them out. It's a whole different world, man. This isn't like a radio station where, the music just keeps coming and going. People have to be specific when they play a podcast. So, listen, whether they played the whole thing, whether they played 8 minutes of it, it's an hour long. It's an hour-long episode. Most of our episodes, I think our shortest episode was like 57 minutes. But, that sometimes you get the people driving into work listening to podcasts, and then they pick it up on the way home. I have a friend that does that. Sometimes it takes the whole ride home, But podcast listeners are very specific. So I would like to think that it's not just being randomly popped and then move on, unless they hear your audio from back then.
Even back at that stage.
I'll blame you.
I have to tell you. I mean, look, if I don't have an opportunity to say it for the rest of the show, I will have to acknowledge the effort that you've put forth to keep this thing, not only to create it, but to keep it going is just an amazing thing. It's certainly something that I've come to appreciate and look forward to and respect in terms of making sure that we're having good conversations and we're keeping people entertained. But this is all about you, man. This is all about you.
Listen, and I know we're not going to start this patting each other on the back thing, but listen, you stuck around for 50 episodes. There's a lot of podcasts that they don't last 15 or 20 episodes, right? So I remember I went on this, there was an app for a little while. It was like the hottest thing going, and you had to be invited in. It was called Clubhouse. And you did it through your phone, and they would open rooms, and you would just go into the room, and if you wanted, and they would have like there was a podcast room, and you have these two, one lady worked for a podcast magazine, another lady, and they controlled the room, and they would say, hey, Jack, you'd hit a button to raise your hand, and they would say, hey, Jack, and it's live, and it's coming through your phone, through your speaker, and just like I would talk to you. And I went up, and they call it coming up on stage. So I went up on stage. I think we were like 6 episodes in, and the lady's like, well, we don't usually stop paying attention to podcasts until they do 26 episodes. And I thought of that. I was like, oh, okay, all right, And that was motivating to me. I'm like, oh, I can do 20. We're going to do 26. Like, that was one of the things, because that's a cutoff. You get, a lot of these people get podcast burnout. They get podcast burnout because the time you got to put into it.
It is a commitment. And I do have to admit, I wish that I was in a position where I could dedicate more time to the research and making sure that we're doing what we do to give everybody a quality product. And admittedly, there have been times where I've thought about, look, I'm just too busy. I'm juggling too many things. And I may have to step out. But there's been one thing that has brought me back time and time again. And I'm sure that you know what that one thing is. It's those episodes where you've been doing it on your own. And much like the time that I was sitting on the beach and looked out into the water and saw a drowning man, I felt compelled to go out there and
throw him a life. Throw him a yeah. Throw him a life.
I'm totally
jacket.
kidding. Hey, man, you don't need me. You got this. As a matter of fact, I want to announce to everybody that this is my last episode.
You're going out on top, huh?
This
You're
is
going
it.
out on top. I hit 50. I'm done.
Nifty 50. Goodbye, everybody. Thank you.
My commitment is over.
I consider myself the luckiest man in the world.
So then we moved up to Best Bands of the 70s. And then March 18th, 2021 was our first St. Patrick's Day show, which was a very good show. We broke out a lot of interesting bands, Irish bands. It was Irish Music in America, was the name of the episode. And we had our back and forth about the Pogues and Shane McGowan and Irish and English. And that's what people like to hear. People like to hear the back and forth, like who's right, who's wrong, who proves the other one wrong. That's part of the little nuances of this show. this Team Jack and this Team Scott, you know? So,
so wait a minute. Who's Will Smith and who's Chris Rock?
Oh, buddy, I would have, try to slap me. Try it.
Hey, look, if I go back into our history, I think there's been a couple of times, maybe multiple times, where you were considering it. But you were
probably right. I wouldn't remember that, but
you were swayed and lulled and just mesmerized by my charms, and after a couple of words from this golden tongue, you would forget all about.
I probably was drinking gin. When I drank gin, it was bad.
You would just give me a hug.
Yeah. I mean, I can't hit you.
I think there's a couple of times you wanted to. and by the way, and by the way, for the record, your brother Mark and Colin were like almost directly in line, right behind you. Like, finally, a cracking Calabrese. Oh my God, I've wanted to do this for a long time.
So then we did a good episode. That I liked this show. It was good music you might have missed along the way. I don't think it gets enough attention. I think the title probably I could change that to something more, because there is a lot in the title that people want to see, that it has to catch their eye. Again, the little nuances of podcasting. It's a flip world. The thumb is always rolling, and you have to have things that will catch their attention. That's a little bit of a long name. But I liked that episode. I think we broke out some really good stuff that people, and I believe that's when I I mentioned Rumor, the girl, the singer. And people actually sent me text messages, texted. I hate saying the word texted. Somebody texted me. I hate that.
You can't do it.
People say that, though. Like, he texted me.
Somebody
he sent you a text.
Somebody texted me in February.
February. Yeah, the R. Remember the R? It's there.
No, hey, listen. Let me give you my.
I'm never going to lose that argument.
No, we're not. Let me give you my opinion on that episode. I'm sorry, and I will apologize to the audience for saying this, but I do think that it's true. That I think that, as we get a little bit older, that we are less apt and less willing to listen to new music. Right. So the fact that we were trying to, I don't want to say educate, because it's not nearly as deep as that, but the fact that we were trying to expose to people to something that they may enjoy, that they may like, would require a certain amount of effort. And I apologize for this, but I think that music has become so disposable, so accessible, that I don't think people want to work for it anymore.
Yeah. Well, we're coming up on that. We're coming up on one of those episodes that I'll mention it. And you're right. I agree 100% with you. You have to make a conscious effort now to find new music. Because you can set your playlist now to all the music you like, and it prevents you from branching out. So, and I told you, I found a lot of these bands or these songs going down the Amazon Music rabbit hole. And that's like, you have one song and it says, you may like, and you just start scanning through those, and you are going down a rabbit hole of new music, and it leads you in that direction, because it keeps you, the algorithm keeps you in a box, like, you like this type of music. So we're going to, and it's different, but it's the same.
But it does require a little bit of effort. I mean, I know that you and I kind of go out of our way, podcast aside, just because we enjoy music to the degree that we do, that we will research and listen to things just because, we want to hear something different. We want to be educated. We want to push the boundaries. We like the fact that people kind of respect that we have a certain amount of musical knowledge, and we feel somewhat compelled to try to keep that up. And sometimes you have to weed through a lot of shit to be able to find the gold. And you know what? There are plenty of people out there, no disrespect to them. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. They just want to hear what they want to hear. They want to say, well, they want to hear something that's familiar and comfortable and something that will brighten their day. And there's nothing wrong with that. We're in a different place.
My brother, Colin McLean, the one of the producers of the show, Jack's favorite part of the team, he says
he hurts me emotionally. Scott, Colin McLean has never touched me physically. He hasn't slapped me or punched me or whatnot. But the damage he's done to me over the years is immeasurable. If I could get past the Colin McLean years during my months and months and years of therapy, that's a hill that I'm here to crest at some point.
Try fucking living with him. I was constantly ducking. So at least you were at a distance. He used to rag the shit out of me, and we go around and around laughing about it, but eventually he came around and he started liking, like, this is a straight Allman Brothers guy, old rock and roll. And he somehow gave himself a chance to listen to, like, Public Enemy, Wu-Tang Clan, Ice Cube. And he actually started liking rap. But he's very specific about it, though. He's very specific about what he likes. And those bands, those groups, Wu-Tang Clan, Public Enemy, they're edgy. They're more edgier than others. And they have a little harder sound to them. But hey, he went out and he gave it a chance and he ended up liking it. Now he tells me he turned me onto it. Are you fucking kidding me?
But I'll take that a step further. I mean, I don't think that they're harder. I mean, they are a little bit harder and they are edgier, but there's a certain intellect. There's a certain smartness that goes along with it. That
lyrics.
I think
it's all the lyrics. They're lyrically perfect in a sense, and the DJs that create the beats that go with it. It's why they are who they are.
Colin has always been a thinker in my mind, and always been one that's been, critical. He was not an easy wall to break down because you had to kind of prove it, and that's why he gave you so much shit for so long, because you weren't quite there yet.
I did my thing. I was listening to Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five, and people hated that shit. They hated it. Malcolm McLaren, Buffalo Girls. I mean, I was always listening to that stuff. But, it paid off. Now I have a lot of useless knowledge that I get to spew out. So then we moved on to, we talked about women in music. Then we moved up to best bands of the 80s. We did actually a part 1 and a part 2 to that. Then we came up to this episode. Oh boy, this was a one and done. This is hold on. Let me pull this up. Come on, it has to be there. I know it's there. Fuck. Don't tell me it's not there. SMS. Why can't I find it now? Son of a bitch. All right. I'll have to track it down. Did it, that's the worst cover song soundbite. Bear with me here. I'm trying to find this. The soundbite. All right. Shit, that's going to drive me crazy now. All right.
Okay, go ahead. You got it?
No. It's fuck me. I don't know why I can't find that.
So was it you earlier that making fun of my technology and timing and all that bullshit?
Yeah, that was me. Yeah. Let me see. Old mail. Not that one. I'm gonna find this. This is definitely gonna find this. New mail. Let's go to new mail. It's not there. Let's go to box. was all right. I can't find it. It was a what's going on here? There we go. It was a soundbite. It was a soundbite that now I can't find it.
All right.
I must have
good
deleted
show.
It. Yeah.
Quality.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, you know how it goes. Then we moved up to Led Zeppelin. Right, we had a pretty good discussion on that. And
go ahead. I'm sorry. There are a few things on this podcast that make me happier than to do what I just did. I'm like Tom Hanks on that deserted island running around going, look what I have created. I have created fire. Look at Scott Head. I have created fire. Fuck you.
are you done?
Hold on. Yeah, I'm done.
Is there a fucking reason you're doing this? Is this like...
Look, you were searching through the digital archives looking for your soundbite, and I, was trying to fill the space a little bit. That's all. I was covering for you. We're even though we're 50 shows in, we don't have the budget to, have somebody do a soundtrack. So I was trying to fill it. I'm sorry.
This fucking episode might not even make it out. It might not.
Why?
So then we moved up to, we had, is rock and roll dead, right? Which is referenced back to music you might have missed along the way when we talked about stuff that people don't go out of their way to listen to. And I think in that sense, rock and roll dead. I just think people aren't going out to find it. People aren't really looking. It's there. It's not dead. It's buried, but it's not dead. Well, I guess we can call it buried alive.
Well, I mean, is it part of the mainstream culture and the thing that's popular in the day? At one time, you had big band music that was the most popular, and it was kind of the rock and roll of its generation. At some point, it was replaced by, different sounds and more contemporary sounds that appealed to the younger generations as they matured and as they were part of kind of that median kind of meaty purchasing segment of the population. So you had the big band sound, and you had the crooners for a little while, and then you had that old style rock and roll, and that evolved into the 60s, and, the 60s with the protest songs, and it definitely had a different sound and whatnot. And that made way to the different sounds of the 70s. And even though it was, still kind of rock, there were some changes along the way, right? And, when you progressed into, the 70s, it moved into disco and punk and pop. And then, you got into new wave and, MTV, and things evolve and things change. And that kind of makes things interesting. And there may be a time where rock and roll may be kind of a niche, type thing that is not, the most popular thing. And I think we're kind of seeing that now. Now it's really more kind of hip hop and soul music in country has really come to the forefront. We may not like it, but it is what it is.
Yeah, but there's definitely groups out there that people aren't finding because, again, it's the times have changed. There's a shift in music, just like rock knocked out, whatever came before that. The 60s knocked out the 50s. Although it's funny,
but I mean,
you hear the 60s, the early 60s, there's a lot of leftover 50s stuff.
Sure there is.
You can listen to 62, 63, 64. You're still getting Sha Na Na and that 50 stuff, whereas we think of the 60s as like, Iron Butterfly and, Cream and all these bands, or the Doors.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you know what, again, I mean, if you think about when, like, you and I were first starting to get into, like, rock and roll music, there was somewhat limited choices. I mean, we had what we had in the day. We didn't have electronic dance music. We didn't have hip hop. We didn't have hardcore rap. We didn't have death metal. There are a lot more choices out there for people right now. So, it's things are spread a little bit thinner. And do I think that there's always going to be a place for rock and roll? Yeah, I hope so. I mean, it's the music I love. I think it's the music I'm always going to love. But there's other stuff out there.
Yeah.
But again,
on. What's that?
I was going to say, then again, like people of our generation, I think the younger generation don't necessarily hold rock music in the high regard that we do. I think it's not that they think that it's more or less important. I don't think they care as much.
Yeah. Then we moved on to soundtracks. What's your favorite soundtrack?
The Last Waltz.
I think we had to talk about that. Is that a soundtrack or is that a concert? Yeah, album?
I mean, it was definitely a concert.
Like I'm talking like a soundtrack from I know that was a movie, but it was a concert movie. It was like a.
I loved American Graffiti.
That's a 2-record set. A lot of people don't know that. There's a lot of music on that thing.
A lot of great music.
Yeah.
And I mean, yeah, definitely the upper echelon, the tops of what actually came out in the late 50s and early 60s. That is a blueprint of those days.
I think I have two. One is FM, the movie FM.
Yeah, you talked about
unbelievably good soundtrack. And The Warriors. The soundtrack from The Warriors is actually pretty good. There's some obscure songs in there, but they're good songs. They're good songs. And Paul Taylor said Forrest Gump. Forrest Gump's a good soundtrack too.
So it's a great soundtrack.
Yeah.
It's a great sound. And even though it catches a lot of shit, The Big Chill was a great soundtrack.
Yeah. Never saw that movie. Never had an urge to see it.
I don't think you're missing anything, my friend.
Just like I never saw St. Elmo's Fire. Never watched any of those kind of.
I don't think you're missing anything.
But I did see Flashdance. That was a good movie.
Okay.
Flashdance was a good movie.
Yeah.
It was far-fetched, but it was an entertaining movie. She wasn't bad to look at. She could carry the screen.
You know what was a good soundtrack? Pretty in Pink.
Yes.
Psychedelic Furs and Joe Jackson and Suzanne Vega.
What's the last song on that soundtrack? It was the last song in the movie.
All right, I'm gonna take a guess, but I'm gonna say that it's Orchestral Maneuvers in the Dark. If You Leave.
Nope. It was. I want to make sure I get it right. It was the Thompson Twins.
Not Hold Me Now.
Nope. I want to make sure. Here we go. It is. Here we go. And it's a really good song. Let's see. Soundtrack. It is. Why isn't it coming up? What the fuck? Jesus Christ. If you could leave, it's kind of a slow. Here we go. Left Sunday, Pretty in Pink, Shell Shocked. Please, please, please. Bring on the Dancing Horses. Nick Crenshaw, Shell Shocked, Pretty in Pink. I don't know. I can't fucking find it. Anyways.
Dude, you're having a tough night with that thing tonight.
Yeah. Anyways. But, good soundtrack. The 80s had some good soundtracks. The 80s had some Fast Times at Ridgemont Time had a good soundtrack also.
Yeah. The Breakfast Club.
Yep. And then we went into great song intros. Then we moved to great final albums. We did the first mixtape trivia. And we moved on to Dark Side of the Moon. We broke that one down. Then we moved up to 5 favorite albums. That was when we had our first guest, our buddy Cole. He came on. He had some pretty obscure albums.
Yeah, he did.
Are you looking for that soundtrack?
I am.
Is it on there? Was it Pretty in Pink or was that 16 Candles? It might have been 16 Candles that I'm thinking.
Wasn't 16 Candles, what was the name of that song? I don't know. I'll have to think about that one.
Yeah. Then we had Aerosmith. We did a whole breakdown on Aerosmith, right?
Yeah.
Then we did our first record store day.
Coming up again, April 23rd.
Yeah, I might be taking a break from them for a little while. Might be taking a break. That Allman Brothers album was very fucking disappointing. And then was the show that I went out on my own for the first time. This was in July. It was July 29th, 2021 when you weren't here. You were traveling or on vacation. And I did the Manchester, a.k.a. the Manchester music scene of the mid-'80s to the mid-'90s, which was pretty interesting doing it by myself at that point because we had already got into a groove. So doing that show was kind of strange. That, I think, was like a 40-minute show. I think it was only 40 minutes. And I just broke down certain aspects of that time in Manchester, which I would have loved to have been there. That was crazy. I assume Manchester back then was like Seattle in the late 80s, early 90s. Everything was exploding everywhere.
Yeah, I don't think those Manchester years get nearly enough credit. They might,
not in the States at least.
Yeah, they might in Europe, they might in the UK, but they certainly don't here.
During those years, Manchester University was the #1 university applied for by students to go to that are going to college because they all wanted to be there.
So that
says a lot for that scene right there.
Yeah.
If you want to see a great movie about that, it's 24-hour Party People. That's a pretty good breakdown of what that was like. It was crazy. Then we moved into the unfortunate and untimely death of Dusty Hill. We did our ZZ Top episode.
Yeah, good old Dusty.
Yeah.
That band will never be the same. And you know what? That streak was broken. They were the longest running band with the original members by far.
Yeah. Yeah.
By far.
Yeah. I don't think, he won't tour ZZ Top anymore. He'll just, Billy Gibbons can tour on his own.
No. They already are. They've already replaced.
They're finishing a tour that was started with Dusty Hill.
Nope. They're going on tour again this summer as a package. And apparently, at least what they said is that Dusty Hill said, you got to keep carrying on without me.
It's not the same.
No, it's not.
And although he was just a bass player, and he sang some songs, I won't see. I've seen them 7 times. That's it. I won't see them without Dusty Hill. It's just not the same. So in the case of bands that lost their lead singer, he was as important to that band as a lead singer would be to another band.
I wholeheartedly agree.
In my eyes.
Yeah, wholeheartedly agree.
Because he was a very unique bass player. That dude, when you saw them in concert, you could feel his bass vibrate on your chest. I mean, that thing was heavy, deep. So then we did our Talking Van Halen episode, August 12th, 2021, right? And that was when we had the 5150 controversy. Yeah. Where they named the album after the studio.
Oh, God.
Yeah. They named the album after the studio. So...
I think you were definitely reaching on that one. Sorry.
No, I'm still sticking to my story. Still sticking to my story. Because technically I'm right. Technically, they might have named the studio after the police code, the LAPD code for, crazy person. But the album was named after the studio. So.
God almighty.
So I think technically I'm right. Then we covered music. We did back-to-back episodes, the music from 1990 to 1995, and then from 1996 to 2000, the following episode.
Yeah.
And then we did our Rolling Stones episode, right? Then we moved up to...
If I remember correctly, the Rolling Stones episode, we ended that episode with about 30 years still to cover.
So, speaking of that was the episode. That was the episode where, unlike tonight, you came in and saved the day for a little while. Unlike earlier, where you went the total opposite direction, you saved the show. Then, and here's the cut. It was kind of ironic that on our 50th episode, you had a little technical difficulty at the beginning. And then this happened during the Rolling Stone show. It was like 35 minutes into the show. And now there's going to be some dead air like there was earlier in this episode. But there's a reason for that dead air. And let me play the clip. Here we go. Supposedly knocks Jagger over. Dead air.
Uh-oh.
Here we go.
I don't know if people can hear me, but Scott just froze. Scott? Scott, where are you? Hello? Hello, Scott? Please call home soon. There you are.
This is beautiful. I don't know if I'm streaming. I gotta check. There we go. So, I'm gonna edit this out.
Scotty, you just turned into a Disney character. You're frozen.
This is definitely getting edited out. Oh, so did you.
Hello?
Hello? Can I please speak to Charlie Watts?
Scotty, you just turned into a Disney character. You're frozen.
Oh, Jesus.
Hello, Scott? Where are you?
All right, they can hear me. All right, we're back somehow, some way. So anyways, it ends up. There we go again.
Uh-oh, Scotty, you are frozen again. Hello, do you need me to get my saw?
Oh, Jesus.
Hello? Where are you, Scott? I cannot see you. Are you okay? Hello? Scott McLean? Why do you not... Why won't you speak to me, Scott? Hello?
Well, everybody, it looks like our friend down in Florida is having a little bit of technical difficulties. We'll just hang here a little bit and wait to see if he's going to come back. The Rolling Stones. Bill Gates actually paid $20 million for the use of Start Me Up for the release of Windows 95. I have to tell you, Scott didn't ask me, but my favorite Stones songs are, Oh, Can't You Hear Me Knocking, Out of Time, Jumpin' Jack Flash, Saint of Me, and You Can't Always Get What You Want. Song that I never really liked was Start Me Up. Never really got into that tune. It just didn't move me for whatever reason. Let's see if he's texted in.
Hello, Scott.
Oh, Scott, where are you? I don't know where our boy is. Maybe he went and listened to a couple of Stones records. Mark Flynn, little known fact, did you know that Keith Richards wrote the Go-Go's hit Our Lips Are Sealed? That is absolutely not true. Nice try, though, Mark. Appreciate it. Anybody else got any comments that they want to make? Come on, send them in. I'm in the show. Everyone can still see and hear you. I love it. So I guess this is the time to announce that Scott and I, much like Keith Richards and Mick Jagger, have decided to go different ways for a period of time. I mean, let's face it. He wasn't really pulling his weight on this thing. He had to rely. He got to a point where he had to start going and using sound effects and putting pinball machines in the back. He just couldn't carry it on his own. So he had to start using props and different things. And it's a damn shame. But, when you don't have that much talent, you have to kind of rely upon bullshit like that. So I just don't know what to tell you. So let's see if we can get him on the phone. Call Scott McLean. Here it is. Hey, Scott, it's Jack.
Hey, Jack, it's Scott. The restream died.
Hey, we're still alive here. You want to continue doing the show? You can do it from your phone.
I don't know how we're live because my camera isn't live.
Everybody here tells me that I'm still on. So, I guess this is time to tell you that you're not on the show anymore. We took a vote here and you're out. You did a good job and you took it as far as you could. But we just think that we have to move on without you. So, this is the time that we're going to announce a replacement. We've got a new person to take over your part. So we're bringing in Sammy Hagar. He's actually going to play lead.
Are you really live right now?
I'm pretty sure I'm still live.
I'm going to go on Facebook and see what's going on here because this is insane. It's typical, though. It's typical.
Did you get cut off? Did you get banned? You didn't play any music, did you? I don't remember you playing any music.
No, it's just I got this. It said something's wrong with your stream. Oh, I'm watching you right now. How the hell is this happening?
Can you hear it?
Yeah, I'm playing you on my phone.
Hey, Scott, while I have you on the phone, did you know that the first version of Satisfaction included a harmonica and was actually considered to be a B-side for Painted Black?
What the hell? How did you stay on? And I'm dead in the water here.
So from what I understand, and I read this in the paper the other day, that Facebook has a new algorithm that is able to identify real talent and discard really, no good, no talent wannabe hacks. So sorry.
Oh, boy. This just ain't right. This just ain't right.
Scott, before we cut you off the show permanently, I need you to send up all of the cases of free hot sauce that you got, because this is my show now.
Scott, the IT guy, are you in on him, Scott, the IT guy?
Pirate radio.
I had him. Did he bring me on today on his live stream just so he could plant the worm in my computer?
I think he did. I think it's ransomware. He wants $18, or you're not ever getting back on your show.
What the hell?
Well, wait a minute. It's $18 and 2 bottles of hot sauce and a King of Facebook koozie.
You want the coffee mugs? I got coffee mugs. I got a lot of coffee mugs.
I tell you, you've never looked better on this show. You're doing a fantastic job.
It's not allowing me to. What the hell?
This stream has been about as effective as a Mick Jagger solo album.
Plenty of good material here, huh, buddy?
Yeah. I think this may be the best show that we've ever done. Although it wasn't the best show until like 38 minutes and 22 seconds.
What the hell?
And even before you left, there was a little bit of a blip, and you were like, I'm going to edit this part. Try editing this, motherfucker. We're live, brother.
How did you stay live and I'm the one hosting it? It's not. Restream is just dead on me here.
Because I don't live in a hillbilly state with subpar Wi-Fi.
Oh, wait a minute now. Look, everything is like, it's like I'm looking at a screen that is absolutely insane right now.
Yeah, it's on my part, there's I can see me. I don't see you at all. There's no more chat, at least not on my end. I'm still stuck seeing Mr. Flynn's. Did you know that Keith Richards wrote the Go-Go's hit "Our Lips Are Sealed"?
I can't. My restream is totally shot.
It's
totally shot, man.
You just can't get no satisfaction. Poor little
Scotty. He cannot do the podcast, so he's going to go to have a cup of more milk and go to bed. He's going to go sleepy time.
Oh, wait, he's coming back. I see Winthrop votes.
This show is totally shot.
Best show ever. Best show. Wait a minute. I'm seeing the stats. 2,000 downloads in the past 18 minutes. Is that it?
Now I'm back.
There you are.
Yeah. You can't keep me down, motherfucker.
Hey, I gotta go. Have a good night.
Thank you. I might as well play the fucking guitar. This is a mess. So, okay. That was persistence.
It's radio gold, Jerry. Gold. Gold.
Yeah, that's live. And I was going to edit it, and I said, you know what? No, I'm not going to edit that.
Leave it the way that it is. Look, I think one of the things that makes this show kind of interesting is that we show it all, warts and all. There are times where it flows and it flows nicely and we're getting along. And there are times when I play my guitar and kind of drift off a little bit, and you get cranky and
hey, somebody said you were leaving. Dave Phillips, what?
That rumor persists that I may be hightailing it. There's a lot of podcast money out there that I am not getting.
Dave Phillips said, "Thank you, Jack. You'll be missed." And then Patty replies, "Dave Phillips, is Jack really leaving?" There you go. You got your fans.
It could be in the very near future one of the happiest days of your life.
What I've been trying to find for the last 15 minutes is the clip, and I'll have to play it next episode. It's the clip of that guy Flynn Stone that came on and sang. He sang for us the Guilty Pleasures episode. And he would sing the Guilty Pleasure songs, and you and I had to play.
I remember that. Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, that was a one and done. He never came back. He wasn't invited back.
Well, you know what? There are people that have expressed an interest in participating in the show. It's not easy. To get up here and to kind of create content and to keep things rolling and to keep things interesting it's not an easy thing. And I'm not quite convinced that you and I are actually doing that.
Well, if we haven't in 50 episodes, we never will. We never will. Then we did a general mixtape episode, which is where we just I like those episodes. I like those episodes where we just kind of riff. There's really no particular subject, open-ended questions, a lot of discussion. I think a lot comes out of those episodes. I think a lot of little info bombs. And that seems to be what people like the most. They like hearing these little tidbits that we throw out there.
Sure, I get that. I mean, but again, I think one of the things that makes the podcast interesting is not 100% knowing where it's actually going to go and having little things that pop up and taking those little left or right hand turns. Those are the things that make it interesting. It's certainly not, a scripted thing where we kind of go back and forth or we talk about this day in music.
What? Oh, that's coming. Don't worry. Oh, and part of that soundbite, I don't think I got it in, but there was a "Did you know" from Jack. Jack in that Flynn Stone soundbite. There was right before I had to clip it out because I can only do a minute, and it was "Hey, did you know" from Jack. So we're going way back. So
did you know, man?
You're guilty of that.
Of course. I love music trivia. Love it.
So then we went on for the next 3 episodes. We covered a Bad Company, Foreigner, REO Speedwagon, Some Girls album, Ginger Baker, Unplugged, The Police, Elvis Costello, The Beatles, Courtney Love, Joe Jackson, Korn, and more in next 4 episodes. We covered a lot in those next 4. So that's basically 5 episodes in a row of just not really zeroing in on a topic. I mean, we did a lot on the Rolling Stones, and like you said, we left a lot on the table. But then, back then, we weren't committed to doing a 90-minute show. So I think that's why we left things on the table. And my feedback has been they like the longer shows because they know they're getting everything. It's all about the listener.
I get it.
They know that they're getting mostly everything.
I get it.
Then we did Southern Fried Rock. That was a good episode.
Yeah, it was fun. What's fun about that episode? I think at the end of it. So you and I spent, I believe, in excess of an hour discussing Southern Fried Rock, and at the end we both kind of admitted, yeah, we're not big fans of Southern Fried Rock.
Yeah, we're not really big fans.
It's fine. Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah. We like it. I'm not a huge fan. I mean,
it's okay. It's all right.
Yeah, it was around in the 80s. It was around. That's when it really kind of, with 38 Special and, bands that they had, 4 or 5 hits in the 80s. Stuff carried over from the 70s into the 80s. So then we went to Talking Woodstock. That was a good episode.
Sure.
Woodstock 99, where you had attended and witnessed the debauchery and the the Lord of the Flies syndrome.
It was our Altamont.
Yeah. Then we talked about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction ceremony. Then we walked into right around Christmas, because we were taking the holidays off. I think I did this one by myself. I'm pretty sure. It was, winding down 2021 and breaking out topics that didn't make it onto the podcast. I don't think you were on that episode. But then you came back for the Christmas episode, which was that one got a lot of downloads. That one got a lot of attention. Then we did memorable albums, and then we talked a little bit about Gary Newman. Then the next show, Best Guitar Solos Part 2, still not as accomplished as Best Guitar Solos Part 1. Then we talked about Pink Floyd. Then we rolled in the next week to siblings and bands. Then after that, Meatloaf passed away. Right? So we talked about Meatloaf.
Yep, good old
that
Meatloaf.
Episode. Yep. And then we talked about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame nominees in that same episode. Top 10 David Bowie songs. That was a good episode.
Yeah, it was fun. I think the thing that was fun about that was not even what we did on the air. I mean, I think what we did on the air was fine. But this is one of the cool things about this, and I so hope that people kind of get into the rhythm. There is something that we can do to kind of get to people to play along. But I mean, for me, the interesting thing about that episode was prior to it really prompted me to dig into the Bowie catalog a lot more than I had. And look, I've probably listened to more of the Bowie catalog than most people, but not to the degree that the like feverish, furious, ravenous Bowie fans that know everything. It was really kind of cool to explore and to listen to things that I hadn't really listened to or hadn't really listened to that closely, and to find there's so many gems. I mean, the guy was just so incredibly brilliant. And I think that anybody that's listening that has had a cursory, or a casual, approach to listening to Bowie, whether it's Changes 1 or Changes 2, and just some of more of the popular stuff, there's so much good stuff that's buried in between those popular songs. I mean, it is just a rich environment for you to play in. You should really get in there and take a listen. You're going to be ecstatic when you hear some of the things that you hear.
And I always say this, I highly suggest people go back and listen to Young Americans. That is my favorite Bowie album. And it is an album with it's one of those start to finish albums, right? I call those perfect albums when every song on there is good. There's no throwaways. It's such a great album. But then again, Diamond Dogs is the shit he put out in a row is amazing.
Yeah, you're actually proving the point that I think both of us are really making. People talk about, what is the most perfect album? And you can make the argument for the Cars' first album, or Alanis Morissette, Jagged Little Pill, or, the Joshua Tree. But the Bowie albums, there's a lot of perfect albums. They're just not mainstream popular. It really challenged you a little bit. But if you're willing to take that challenge, you'll be rewarded so much by it. So much great stuff.
Yeah, how'd you like to be the guy that has to pick the hits that they're gonna take off of Diamond Dogs? You know what I mean?
Dude, I work in the insurance industry. Of course I want to be that fucking guy.
Yeah, but you got these albums. You have these albums, and you're like, I got to pick 3? What the hell? Like, every song is good, But then we moved on and talked a little bit about the Foo Fighters, Little Richard and the Super Bowl halftime show. That was an episode. Then the following episode, we had our second guest. Well, third. That guy Flintstone was kind of a guest. But Yeah.
He was a flyby.
He's never coming back. I'll dig out that sound clip, and we'll know why. We did. My friend Cynthia Sear came on from the True Hauntings and Scary Stories podcast. If you like that stuff, go check out that podcast. It's pretty good. True Hauntings and Scary Stories, and we did some rock and roll ghost stories.
Yes, we did.
Were you just breathing like?
Well, I think that was the rock and roll ghost stories. Was I on that episode? Or was that?
Yeah, absolutely you were.
Oh yeah. Okay, all right.
Yeah,
all right.
Absolutely you were. And then I did another solo show, a lot of Did You Knows. Then we moved on. We did the technology and music, which we didn't really finish. There was we both, I think, had a lot of notes, but I don't know why we didn't get past. I don't think we got past the 8 tracks when we were talking about technology. Then we did our second St. Patrick's Day show. We did our favorite St. Patrick's Day songs, where you rode me about the Cranberries song "Zombie." That it's not really a St. Patrick's Day song, but
No.
when you're shit faced, no, it's whoa.
No. Whoa.
Yeah, there you go.
Whoa.
Once an episode.
No, look, man. Again, getting back to the zombie thing, there's nothing wrong with that song. What I'm saying is that if you're in a room and you got people that are like listening to music and everybody's up and they're jigging and they're drinking whiskey and they're having fun, zombie it just doesn't make my playlist because I think it's a little bit of a drone. It's a little bit of a downer. It's a great song. It's interesting. It's got depth to it or whatnot, but it's not on my dance playlist. Let me put it that way.
Okay. And then I did another solo show, Strange Facts in Music Did You Knows, which I actually got to get the rest of technology and music off my plate, and I got to dispense it on that episode. And then last week we went to our Freestyle 49, which was one of our funniest shows of the 50. I really... That was a good show last week.
Yeah,
I was cracking up listening to it.
We didn't talk much about music, but we had a good time.
I'll tell you what, man. I listened to these shows. I haven't listened to the last week, but I listened to that one, and I was laughing myself.
Yeah,
that freestyle one, I was laughing out loud by myself. That was a pretty funny episode. That was a good episode. And here we are at 50, buddy.
Here we are.
Here we are at 50.
What do you think? What do you think the next 50 is going to entail? What is it going to bring us?
I don't know.
Do we have enough content to?
Go ahead.
Do we have enough content? Do we have enough energy? Do we have enough legwork? Do we have enough stamina to carry on and to keep this thing going?
Of course we do. It's music.
I mean, do you think over the next 50 episodes that we will double our live audience to a solid 10?
Well, again, it's a means to an end. We're not in this for the live stream. The live stream is what keeps us sharp. That's why we live stream it. There's no you can relax when you're recording and you can just cut and say, you know what? Now let's just edit that out. You can't do that on a live stream. It's noticeable. You can't just cut it out. Because there's a flow on a live stream that people will notice if there's an edit. And I'm a pretty good editor, and I can't fix that. That's why that whole Rolling Stones the Jack takeover stayed in. You carried it, buddy. I was fucking panicked, but I was not giving up. I was like, no, I can't. I was about to quit, and I'm like, no, don't quit. So that's our 50 episodes. This is the 50th, and I think we have enough. I mean, I get the text every Monday. What are we doing this week? I'd say, okay. We just pull out anything. We can pull out anything. But you know what? You know what I really like to do is this day in music.
Okay, goodbye, everybody. It was really great.
Now's your time. See, you got to save that. I give you this time at the end.
Okay.
To just chill and give me some background music, but instead you decided to do it backwards.
Dude, you got mad. Wow, that was crazy.
Well, I was getting irritated. You would have known if I was mad. I was getting slightly irritated. I can't get to sleep. On this date, in 1965, the Beach Boys went into the United Western Records recording studio complex in Hollywood to start work on a new Brian Wilson and Mike Love song called California Girls. They recorded 44 takes of the backing track until Brian Wilson was satisfied with the results.
Hey, do you think the David Lee Roth version holds up?
No.
It's pretty good.
It's okay, but you don't hear it anymore.
No, you don't.
No. On this day in 1966, the first session that would become the Beatles' album Revolver started in the evening at Abbey Road Studios, London, with the recording of the basic track of a new John Lennon song called Tomorrow Never Knows. On this day in 1967, the first master tape of the Beatles' new album, Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, was made. The song order on one side, one is different from the final product at this point. Let's see. The last 5 songs on that side being initially ordered as follows, being for the benefit of blah, 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 blah. All right, on this day in 1968, Pink Floyd announced founder Syd Barrett had officially left the group. Barrett was suffering from psychiatric disorders compounded by drug use. Tortured soul. Also on this day in 1968, Simon and Garfunkel went to #1 on the U.S. album charts with the soundtrack from Mike Nichols' movie The Graduate. The film boosted the profile of the folk rock duo, and on the strength of the hit Mrs. Robinson, the soundtrack rose to the top of the charts. On this day in 1971, the Rolling Stones launched their own record label, Rolling Stones Records, with Atlantic Records, after their recording contract with Decca Records expired. The first album to be released was Brian Jones Presents the Pipes of Pan at Jujuka. What the fuck? In 1971, it's widely credited with being the first world music LP. Who cares? On this day in 1974, the California Jam 1 Festival took place in Ontario, California, featuring the Eagles, Black Sabbath, Deep Purple, Earth, Wind & Fire, ELP, Black Oak, Arkansas, and Seals and Crofts. Over 200,000 fans attended.
It's a pretty good lineup.
Yeah. On this day in 1987, Roger Waters' lawyers issued a statement that Roger believed himself to be the creative driving force behind Pink Floyd, and there would be, and therefore he would contest the use of the name by anyone else and any former members of Pink Floyd. So that was 1987. So that's when Pink Floyd came out with Division Bell, right?
Momentary Lapse of Reason.
Is that what it was? Momentary Lapse of Reason?
The
Division Bell came out later, right?
Yeah. They put out two albums post Roger Waters, and it was Momentary Lapse of Reason and the Division Bell.
Division Bell, okay.
Toured played down in Foxborough in 87, 88, and then again in 94, I think.
Okay. It was a sad day on this day in 1998. Wendy O. Williams, the original Wendy O. Williams, former singer of the Plasmatics, died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Williams was known for her wild stage theatrics, which included blowing up equipment, near nudity, and chainsawing guitars. In January 1981, police in Milwaukee arrested her for simulating sex on stage. Later that same year in Cleveland, Ohio, Williams was acquitted of an obscenity charge for simulating sex on stage wearing only shaving cream. That's a great picture. There's a picture of her with that, just covered in shaving cream. Crazy. She was nuts. Wendy O was nuts. Born on this day in 1937, Merle Haggard, American singer, songwriter, guitarist, and fiddler, And born on this day in 1965, Frank Black. Born Charles Michael Kittredge Thompson IV. Guitarist and singer with the American alternative rock band, The Pixies. And that's it. We made it through. The 50th is done.
Good. Good night.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. These things are turning into fucking marathons. You got to be kidding me.
Listen to
night,
you.
I got to go sleepy. I got to work in the morning.
What? It's 8:30. But you get up at 4:30.
Yeah, I got to get up at 4:30. Get shit to do. Come on.
All right, get off the air. All right, everybody. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening.
Christ, Jesus. Oh, great. Carl is on now. Now we got to stay on another fucking hour.
Thanks for watching. We appreciate your time. Yeah. You're the engine that makes this machine run. And doing the show for you, to quote my favorite artist, Morrissey, the pleasure, the privilege is mine and Jack's. We will see you, or I'll see you. You're not here next week, right?
I am in Nashville this week.
You're in Nashville, so I will be doing another solo show.
Wait, what do you mean solo show? Why don't you just air this one?
I am. I'm only kidding.
What
See?
the fuck?
Oh, who's irritated now?
Oh, Jesus Christ. You know, people hate it when you do the solo shows.
All right, good night, everybody. Shut up.
Dude, you don't want to give him another Garfunkel week. Come on,
You're an idiot.